Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Chasing Rabbits. My name is Scott Brown, and welcome to another adventure as we try to help you become the leader that you always wished that you had worked for. I would say one of the things that I miss most that we've lost in this last year or so has been the contact with people. I miss being around people so much. And for me, that's a really weird thing to say because I am a textbook definition of an introvert. I'm not supposed to really want to be around people, but even introverts have trouble with this. We want to be around people. And I think if there's one thing we can learn from this about being separate, it's that when we get to go meet people again, we have the opportunity to kind of redefine who we are, to re-explain to ourselves and to others who we are, to reposition ourselves, to reinvent ourselves to whomever we're going to be after all of this is over. Now, for years, whenever I would go to a conference, whenever I would go to a meeting, whenever I would go to a networking event, I could be guaranteed that every single person I met was going to ask me two questions. The first question was always, "Hi, who are you?" And even if I was as nervous as could be and I was intimidated, whatever the reason, if I forgot that, I had a name tag. I could always at least look down and read my name tag so I remember that part. I could nail that part of the conversation. I knew who I was. But it's the second question that always kind of threw me for a loop, especially after I left the corporate world and I no longer had that business card given to me by somebody else that defined what I did. The second question is, what do you do? What do you do? And if you're like a lot of us that over the past year have had to change jobs, change focuses, do that word that I hate so much now, pivot. Pivot was great when it was on Friends and we're talking about a couch. But now when we talk about the organizational pivot, it's just one of those overused cliches, but it does fit in a lot of ways because a lot of us have had to change our direction, our focus, where we're going, what we're doing. So as we start to think about how we're going to answer that question once we get back out into the real world and we get to see each other again, what are you going to say? You're a different person than you were the last time you met these people. They're a different person than the last time they met you. Everything has changed. So what do you do? I think one of the best ways to think about that is to consider, what do you do when no one is looking? Because I think that one of the greatest measures of character is, what do you do when no one is looking? Or when you think no one is looking? Because in reality, there's really never a time that nobody is looking, because no matter where we go, there we are. We are always paying attention to what we do. The voice in our head is always telling us who we are. We're never completely alone because we always have ourselves for company. But what do you do when you're the only person you are with? Are you aligned with what you do when other people are watching? Are you a different person? See, I don't think that anyone should be judged either based upon their greatest accomplishment nor their greatest defeat. I think everybody is part of a continuum. We're all part of a journey that we're all growing in some way. We're moving from where we were to where we're going to be. We're along that road. Then when we start to compare ourselves, we start to say what we do, and we use measures to define what we do based upon how well we've met some metric that was arbitrarily assigned to us based upon some arbitrarily assigned goal that's out there and some arbitrarily assigned time frame that's out there. We start to lose that character of what we do when nobody else is looking. What we do is really a loaded question, because what somebody's really asking you is, help me define you. I want to be able to put you into a little box and understand you. My friend Jeff is on here, who lived across the street from me in Florida, and I know that Jeff is a manager for a home builder. So it's easy to put him in that box of he works in the home industry, in the building industry. So I can put him in this neat little bento box and file him away. But I know Jeff is much, much more than that. I know Jeff is a devoted father. I know he is a great friend. I know he cherishes his relationships. I know that he is loyal to a fault. I know that he's fun, he's gregarious, he's engaging, he's caring. And if you get past the persona of the big tough guy, he's also incredibly soft. There's a lot more to what Jeff does than just how he earns his paycheck. We're all like that. We all have different parts of ourselves that we don't know how to define. But here we are locked away, given a chance to redefine ourselves. I don't want anyone out there to think that they are either the sum of their losses or the sum of their wins or the sum of the two together. We are not the sum of what we have accomplished. We are more the product of our actions, of our values, of our behaviors, and of our choices. And when any of those is zero, then that reduces us significantly. We're not the sum of what we've accomplished on paper, we're the product of who we choose to be. So as you look forward to 6 months from now, when we may actually go out of our homes and meet another person in a professional environment, think about how are you going to define what you do? Because what you do is far more than just a little box that can be defined. What you do impacts people. A lot of you are leaders and don't even realize it. You have people following you and you don't even know it. Look behind you. You might find that you have a tribe forming that you are not even paying attention to. What do you do? It's a far more complicated question. And I think it's time we take a look at it and give a far more honest answer. So what do you do? How do you help? Who do you help? I think it's time we look past. And if this year teaches us anything, it's that job titles come and go with all too much ease. They're so easy to be given and removed. But what we do, that holds true for who we are. And I think that's the question we should be answering when somebody asks, what do you do? How do you make an impact in others' lives? If you can define that, then maybe you can't be fit into a box. Maybe you'll just have to create a new identity for somebody else to rethink about who you are. And I think that is a magical experience. So until tomorrow, my friends, I want you to sleep on this tonight and ponder. What do you do? We all have a name tag somewhere that says who we are, but does it really explain you? Until tomorrow, have a wonderful night. And I will see you tomorrow for another edition of Chasing Rabbits. Until then, till stop, my friends. It's been a pleasure. I look forward to speaking to you again tomorrow night from my office, alone. Be well, everybody. Take care.